There are only 3 companies that have ever reached $3 trillion valuation: Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia. But only one of them is completely misunderstood. Most people have never seen a single Nvidia product in their whole life, yet in some way we all use their products. 30 years ago, everyone thought they were playing video games, and now some companies will do anything just to get their hands on Nvidia products. How could Wall Street overlook the hidden potential of this incredibly young exponential company? If you are from planet Earth, you've probably heard about Nvidia. Not that you would know exactly what's up, but anytime you hear Nvidia, it's a computer something something, and then also the numbers go up. And the moment people hear that the numbers go up, they want a piece of that. So in just 10 minutes, here is how Nvidia achieved this incredible hockey stick. Exponential companies like Nvidia always go through 3 phases: architect phase, stonemason phase, and exponential. In the architect phase, you plan your company trajectory. In the stonemason phase, you build values that last. And in the exponential phase, you compound everything that you've built. Nvidia is just a perfect example of these 3 stages. Most of the companies made a series of bad decisions, and Nvidia is no exception. To start the company, Jensen Huang made a fast business plan on a napkin. He simply read the book on how to make a business pitch and then wrote the plan down, but he didn't even finish it and then presented it to Sequoia hedge fund.
Here's the thing, Nvidia, I never finished my business plan.
It was only because Jensen got the best recommendations that Don Valentine from Sequoia said, "Okay, I will give you this money, but if you lose my money, I will kill you." They started with a company valuation of $6 million. $6 million. If only they had known that it would later become one of the highest valued companies on the planet. Nvidia first started with 3D graphics. It was the first dedicated graphic card company. Kids at the time were trying to get their hands on the best graphic card to run the newest games. Nvidia tried to become a game console inside PC, and that led them to keep in touch with developers. And you will find out later why that's important. Nvidia chips was initially designed for memory constraint, which was simply a bad decision, because as memory got better, Nvidia technology got worse. And the technology got better fast. Since their technology was built on completely wrong principles, their product became basically worthless. At that time, they had 6 months of cash left. What would you do? Most people would have probably given up and closed the business. But Jensen likes to say, problem drive the need for solutions. Nvidia laid off 70% of its people and reduced to 35. This was a survival strategy, basically down to people who could engineer their way out of this potentially fatal situation. They made a risk-it-all bet and started to design a new chip from scratch called Riva 128. You need to understand they had 6 months left, and making a new chip was normally a 2-year challenge. So what they tried to do was unthinkable at the time. They tried to test this chip in a virtual simulations. They took the most painful testing journey just to speed up the process, and without even a prototype, they went straight to a production of 100,000 units. At that time, it was like designing an airplane on a paper and ordering 10 of them immediately, and it kind of worked, but the chip had a lot of bugs. Later, over the 4 months, they sold 1 million units. This experience taught Jensen an important exponential strategy that we can all use to grow nearly any brand. Reduce the production cycle. What competitors did in 24 months took Nvidia just 6 months. After that success, they went public with $600 million valuation. The stock went up and down, but given what we know today, it was still extremely underappreciated. The public back then, and even to this day, thinks Nvidia is a hardware company. Wall Street get these companies wrong all the time. They look at the Nvidia industry, which is semiconductors, and make assumption, oh, this is a company manufacturing hardware. But Nvidia does not manufacture its own chips. A company named TSMC does it for them. Nvidia just designed them. They are not a hardware company. Anyway, after they went public, they got $500 million deal from what was super secret Microsoft project called Xbox. This was when Nvidia introduced a programmable chip. Before this, all chips were just piece of hardware that behaved exactly as they were designed. This new chip was about to change it all. It was called a graphic processing unit, or GPU. In a moment, I will explain how it works. Now just understand This was the architect trajectory Jensen Huang was looking for. This was the only way to differentiate their hardware chips from competitors. He enhanced, or you can even say accelerated, his chips with software. This means fewer hardware constraints and limitations. The software was always able to take this technology further. He found a long-lasting exponential value that he could build for decades in the stonemason phase. So he made his second largest bet, because they were running out of cash again. They had to create all of this infrastructure around this new programmable GPU chip, a new ecosystem. So instead of only building on top of infrastructure, they decided to become the new infrastructure of 21st century. However, this time, Jensen was betting to completely change the industry and his company's trajectory. Here's what CPUs, which were the market standard chips, versus Nvidia GPUs actually do.
Let me speed it up.
Three, two, one.
In comparison, current CPUs have around 26 core, optimized to be versatile, calculating operations in order one by one. With modern GPUs, they have around 16,000 cores, optimized to be as fast as possible. In simple terms, they calculate multiple operations at once. Nvidia accelerates chips, and this was the perfect base for rising technologies like AI, design, and 3D simulations. It wasn't just luck. Nvidia made its second largest discovery. When a company really focuses on becoming the best in class in innovation, it would be weird for its value to be driven by only CEO. Most of the value should be driven by your employees and scientists, and that's exactly what happened. Let's look at this old video that introduced CUDA, probably one of the greatest inventions to accelerate AI, and the man behind it, Ian Buck.
My name's Ian Buck. I'm the director of GPU computing at Nvidia for software. Basically, my research at Stanford was looking at general purpose programming models for GPUs.
CUDA allows scientists and researchers to tap into the power of GPU. It basically allowed the current GPUs to be used for more than just playing video games. It was designed to compute large block of data. It just happened to be that this is currently the best way to provide computing power for AI, specifically large language models like ChatGPT.
Could Nvidia be as successful in AI without CUDA?
No, impossible. It is potentially one of the most important inventions in modern computing.
And Nvidia made CUDA free, but there was a catch. It could only run on Nvidia chips. They made a closed ecosystem like Apple. And so, since 2006, Nvidia has become what no one expected. Nvidia spent the past 18 years building like a stonemason, brick by brick, line after line of code. And created a platform. Think about it. The early signs of them being a software company were clear. First, they built connections with developers with their 3D graphics. Also, second, the Riva 128 bucks let Nvidia to get involved with programmers. And third, invention of the programmable GPU. In its core, Nvidia was always a developer-oriented company. They always wanted programmers to build on their chips. Okay, let's pause for a second. Guys, if I make exponential growth sounds too easy, that's because I spent many hours studying Nvidia growth strategy. Growing exponentially is actually extremely hard and rare. That's why I created this community, so hopefully you will join us there. Someone asked me, Michael, how do I know that the company hit exponential stage? Well, look at the CEO's jacket. If it's anything other than leather, then it's not an exponential stage. Jensen is the best CEO ever. One of the advanced strategies of exponential companies is acquisition. And boy, did Nvidia made one of the best acquisitions of all time. In March 2019, Nvidia announced its acquisition of Mellanox Technologies, a $7 billion deal.
Yeah, this is a home run deal. Man, I've been dreaming about this. You know, the most important computer today is the data center. It is the epicenter of the computer industry. And the most important applications that run in the data center today are AI application and big data analytics application.
Jensen understood Nvidia had the best chips and also CUDA, But that would not win him the market because all of these companies like Google and Microsoft could buy them for their data centers. And he was smart enough to know that the best-in-class data centers are not defined by computer chips, location, security, or cheap power that everyone has. It is about data center architecture, and Mellanox was exactly that. Probably the best high-performing networking company. This was one of the most important milestones for Nvidia. And I wanted to make animation that would represent the Nvidia stock chart growth. But it always looked like artificial made-up graph because of this unreal growth they had. So I decided to show you a real stock price graph. The company started trading in 1999, and as you can see, in just years of trading, it has these crazy 1000% ups and downs. And as you progress year by year, you suddenly just, go to the freaking universe. Their stock made 300,000% in 25 years, which now made 70% of people that work in Nvidia millionaires via stock options. For more than 30 years, scientists, researchers, developers, and creators have been using Nvidia technology to do amazing things. They served one of the most consistent exponential trends of all time, Moore's Law. More than 4 million developers now create thousands of applications for accelerated computing. Over 40,000 companies use Nvidia AI technologies. With 15,000 global startups, Nvidia became the default platform to build AI on. They made sure they disqualified every other competitors and timed it perfectly to sell shovels in the time of AI gold rush. All of the technology giants like Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, and Oracle now order billions of dollars worth of their chips from Nvidia. Not only for hardware, but for overall performance. This story is story to be continued. But for now, if you want more, you can learn how 3M proved that you can build anything with $0 in this video.